কবে আহা গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া কবে আহা
Hare Krishna, please accept my pranam. Before we begin today's reading, let's go through the chapter topics leading to chapter 5. These are the topic titles given in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada's edition of Caitanya-bhāgavata. I'm hoping that by going through this at the beginning of each reading, we'll be able to eventually memorize them. So chapter 1, Gaur Lila Sutra, a synopsis of Gaura's pastimes. Chapter 2, Prabhu Janma, the Lord's appearance. Chapter 3, Prabhur Koshti Ganan, calculation of the Lord's horoscope. Then chapter 4, there's 3 topics. Nam Karan, the name-giving ceremony. Bal Charitra, that's the childhood pastimes. And Chor Apaharan, the thieves kidnapped the Lord. And now we come to today's chapter, chapter 5. Tartik Viprana Bhojani, eating the Mendicant Brahmin's offerings. This chapter is a lot of fun. There are 2 stories. The first one is really short. It begins with Jagannath Mishra ordering Nimai to bring a book from the house, and when Nimai went into the house to get it, Shachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra hear sweetly tinkling ankle bells. Nimai then gives the book and goes out to play. When they go into the house, they see footprints marked with a flag, thunderbolt, goad, and banner. They couldn't understand who those footprints belonged to, and they concluded that it must be their Damodar Shalagram walking about their house unseen. So to celebrate, they arranged an abhishek, a special offering, and worship for their Shalagram. And now the second story. On another day, a mendicant Brahmin who worshipped Bal Gopal, he became a guest at Jagannath Mishra's house. They nicely received him and made arrangements for him to cook. After cooking, when he was in the middle of making an offering to his Bal Gopal, he saw Gaur Gopal, a little Nimai, eating the offering. So he called out, "Hi, hi, alas, alas." When Jagannath Mishra heard this, he prepared to beat the boy in anger, but he was stopped at the Brahman's request. Jagannath Mishra then requested the Brahman to cook another offering, and then Shachi Devi took Nimai to the neighbor's house to keep him there until the Brahman finished eating. Then, when the Brahman went to make his second offering, again, that little rascal Nimai was eating it. So the Brahman called out, "Hi, hi, alas, the offering has been spoiled." On being caught red-handed, Nimai knew he was in big trouble, so he ran away as Jagannath Mishra chased behind him. Everyone, especially the Brahman, they managed to stop Jagannath Mishra from beating Nimai. And then Nimai's brother Vishwarup appeared on the scene and completely captivated the Brahman. This time the Brahman insisted that it was not Bhagavan's desire that he eat rice that day, and that he would just take whatever fruits and roots were lying around. But Vishwarup eventually persuaded the Brahman to cook a third time. By this time, it was the middle of the night. When the Brahman started cooking, the relatives sat around Nimai in a room, and Jagannath Mishra sat at the doorway to ensure that this naughty boy would not spoil the offering again. After a while, on the Lord's will, Nidra Devi, the goddess of sleep, deluded everyone into a deep slumber. And when the Brahman went to make his third offering, you can guess what happened. The naughty Gaur Gopal came again and began to eat the offering. The Brahman again cried out, "Hi, hi, alas, alas!" But everyone was too deeply asleep to hear him. Nimai said, "You call me and then I come, so what is my fault?" He then decided to bestow his mercy on the Brahman and appeared before him in a 4-armed form, holding a conch, disc, club, and lotus. But this form was also very madhur. It was very sweet, because he was holding a pot of butter and also playing a flute with his 2 other hands. There's a beautiful description at this point in the book. The Lord then discloses the Brahman's eternal position to him and tells him not to mention anything what happened. He basically said, "You snitch, you die." After this incident, the Brahman would beg alms here and there during the day, but one time every day he would visit the house of Jagannath Mishra in Navadvip to see his worshipable Lord. So we'll recite the Mangalacharan and then begin reading. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye krishnaya krishna bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya namo namaha. vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujao kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalaya-taksho vishvambharo dvijavaro yugadharmapalo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. Namastrikala satyaya jagannatha sutaya cha sabhrityaya saputraya sakalatraya te namaha. Avatirno sakarunyo parichinno sarishvaro Shri Krishna Caitanya Nityanando dvau bhrataro bhaje. Sajayati vishuddha vikrama kanakabha kamalayate kshana varajanu vilambi shadbhujo bahudha bhakti rasabhinartaka. Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishveshamurter Jayati Jayati Nrityang Tasya Sarva Priyanam. Adya Shri Caitanya Priya Goshtir Charane Ashesha Prakare Mora Danda Paraname Tabe Vando Shri Krishna Caitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishvambhar. Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam. Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakamadhitaranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. The glories of Sri Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 8, verses 33 to 42. Ore mura loka shuno Chaitanya mangal Chaitanya mahima jate jani besakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Veda Vyas Chaitanya Lilar Vyas Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shavane Nashe Sarva Amangal. Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima. Bhagavate Joto Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likhiyachen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar. Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jari Pashandi Javan Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakhon. Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Grantha Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Shri Chaitanya. Vrindavana Dasa Pare Koti Namaskar. Aiche Grantha Korite Ho Tarila Sangsar. Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan तार गर्भे जन्मिला श्री दास वृंदावन तार की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरित वर्णन जहाँ श्रवणे शुद्ध कोइलो त्रिभुवन. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 4-5. सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार. Shri Caitanya-bhāgavata Ādi-khaṇḍa Chapter 5. Eating the Mendicant Brahmana's offerings. Tarthik Viprana Bhojan. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya Prabhu Vishwambhar Dvaja Vrajankusha Pada Mahamaheshwar. All glories to the devotee's beloved Lord Vishwambar, whose lotus feet are marked with the flag, thunderbolt, and goad. He is the Lord of all lords. Heno mate ache Prabhu Jagannath ghare alakhite bahuvidha swaprakasha kore. In this way, the Lord secretly manifested various pastimes while residing in the house of Jagannath Mishra. Ek dina daki bole Mishra Purandar Amara pustaka ano bapa Vishwambhar. One day, Jagannath Mishra called to Vishwambhar, "My dear son, please bring my book." Baper vachana shuni ghare dhaiya jai Runu jhunu koriye nupura baje pai. Hearing his father's words, Vishwambar ran into the room, and the sound of ankle bells was heard as he moved. Mishra bole khota shuni nupurer dwani Chaturdike chai dui Brāhmaṇa Brāhmani. Jagannath Mishra said, "From where is the sound of ankle bells coming?" The Brahmana couple then began to look around. Amara putrer paye nahi ko nupur Kothai bhajilo vadya nupur madhur. My son is not wearing ankle bells, so where has the sweet sound of ankle bells come from? Ki adbhuta dui jane mane mane gane vachana naspure dui janer vadane. They both considered the incident to be most strange, and they were unable to speak. Punti diya prabhu chali len khelaite ar adbhut deke giya griher majhete. The Lord gave the book to his father and then went outside to play. But when the couple went inside the room, they experienced another wonder. Shaba grihe dekhe aparupa pada china Dvaja vajra ankusha patakadi bhinna bhinna. All over the room, they saw extraordinary footprints decorated with signs like the flag, thunderbolt, goad, and banner. Anandita dohe dekhi apurva charan dohe hoila pulakita sajala nayan. They both became filled with ecstasy on seeing those incomparable footprints. Their hairs stood on end, and tears flowed from their eyes. O para parma dekhi dohe kore namaskar dohe bole nistari mu janma nahi ar. They both offered obeisances to those lotus footprints and said, "We are delivered. We will not take another birth." Mishra bole shuno vishwaruper janani grita paramana randaho apani. Jagannath Mishra said, "Listen, mother of Vishwarup, go and cook some fried rice with ghee for our shaligram." Usually paramana means sweet rice, so he might be saying, "Go cook some sweet rice for our shaligram." Gare je achen damodar shalagram Panchagavye sakale koramu tane snan. Tomorrow morning I will bathe our Damodar Shalagram with Panchagavya. Bhuji layate ho ghare bulen apani ataeva shunilaya nupure radhwani I can understand that our shalagram is walking around the room. That is why we heard the sound of ankle bells. Ei mate dui jane paramaharishe, shalagrama puja kore prabhu mane hase. In this way, they both worshipped Shalagram Shila with great satisfaction, and the Lord smiled within. Ar eka katha shuno parama arbhut, je ranga korila prabhu Jagannatha Sutta. Now please hear another wonderful pastime performed by the son of Jagannath. Parama sukriti eka tarthika Brāhmaṇa, Krishner uddeshe kore tirtha parjatan. One most pious mendicant Brāhmana was wandering to various holy places in search of Krishna. Shad akar gopala mantrer kore upasana, gopala naivedya bina na kore bhojan. He worshipped the Lord with the 6-syllable Gopal mantra, and he would eat only what he had first offered to Gopal. Daive bhagyavan tirtha bhramite bhramite, Asya milila vipra prabhur badite. In the course of visiting the various holy places, that fortunate Brahmana arrived by providence at the house of the Lord. Kante bala gopala bhushana shalagram, parama brahmanya teja ati anupam. That matchless effulgent Brahmana had a deity of Bala Gopal and a Shalagram Shila hanging from his neck. Niravadi mukhe vipra Krishna Krishna bole, antare Govinda rase dui chakhu dhule. He constantly chanted the name of Krishna while he kept his eyes half closed and internally relished ecstatic love for Govinda. Dekhi Jagannatha Mishra tejase tahar, sambhrame uthiya kori le namaskar. When Jagannath Mishra saw the effulgent Brahmana, he respectfully stood up and then offered obeisances. Atiti vyabhara dharma jeno mate hoy, sab kori len Jagannatha mahashay. Jagannath Mishra received the Brahmana with the etiquette due to a guest. Apane koriyatana pada prakhalan, bosite dilen ani uttama asan. He personally washed the Brahmana's feet and then offered him a proper seat. Shusta hoy bosilen jadi vipravar, tabe tane Mishra jigyasen kotha ghar. After the Brahmana was comfortably seated, Jagannath Mishra asked him, "Where is your residence?" Vipra bole ami udasin deshantari, chetera vikhepe matra parjatana kori. The Brahmana replied, "I am a wandering mendicant. I go wherever my restless mind takes me." Pranati koriya Mishra bolen vachan, jagater bhagye se tomar parjatan. With folded hands, Jagannath Mishra said, "Your traveling is for the benefit of the world. Visheshata aji amar parama sobhagya, agya deho randhaner korigiya karja." Today, I am especially fortunate. Please order me, and I will go arrange for your cooking. Vipra bole koro Mishra je icha tomar, harishe korila Mishra divya upahar, randhaner sthana upaskari bhalo mate, dilen shakala sajja randhana korite. The Brahmana replied, "Please do whatever you feel suitable." Jagannath Mishra then happily arranged all sorts of palatable ingredients. Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi nicely cleaned the kitchen and kept all the ingredients ready for cooking. Santoshe Brahmana vara koriya randhan, bosilen Krishnere korite nivedan. Satisfied with the arrangement, The Brahmana cooked and then sat down to make an offering to Krishna. Sarva bhuta antaryami Shri Sachi-nandan Mane ache viprere diben darashan. Shri Sachi-nandan, the supersoul of all living entities, then decided to give darshan to the Brahmana. Dhyana matra korite lagila vipravar Sammukhe aila Prabhu Shri Gaura Sundar. As soon as the great Brahmana began to meditate, Shri Gaura Sundar came before him. Dhulamoy sarva anga murti digambar Aruna nayana kara charana sundar. The Lord was naked, and all of his limbs were covered with dust. His eyes were reddish, and his hands and feet were most beautiful. Hasiya viprer ana loya shikore ekagrasa khailen dekhe viprabare. The Lord smiled and took a handful of the Brahmana's rice. He then ate the rice as the Brahmana watched. Hai hai kori bhagyavanta vipradake anna churi kori leka chanchala balake. The fortunate Brahmana cried out, "Alas, alas! This naughty boy has stolen the rice." Asiya dekhen Jagannatra Mishravar Bhata khai hase Prabhu Shri Gaura Sundar. Jagannath Mishra came there and saw Shri Gaura Sundar smiling as he ate the Brahmana's rice. Krodhe Mishra dhaiya jayen mari bare Sambhrame uthiya vipra dhori len kore. In anger, Jagannath Mishra rushed to beat the Lord. The Brahmana, however, got up and apprehensively caught hold of Jagannath Mishra's hand. Vipra bole Mishra tumi boro dekhi arya kon jnana balaker mariya ki karja. Mishra, you are supposed to be a cultured Aryan. What is the use of beating this ignorant boy? Bhalo manda jnana jar thake mari tare Amar shapath jadi maraho uhare. Only one who can distinguish between right and wrong can be beat. Therefore, I forbid you from beating this child. Dukhe bosilen Mishra hasta diya shire Matha nahi tole Mishra vachana na sphure. Jagannath Mishra then sat down in distress, holding his head with his hands. He could not speak or lift his head. Vipra bole Mishra dukha na baviho mane Je dine je hobe taha Ishvara se jane. The Brahmana said, "My dear Mishra, please do not feel sad. Whatever is meant to happen on a particular day is known only to the Lord." Phalamula ādi-grihe je thake tomar Ani deho aji taha koribo ahar. Please bring whatever fruits and roots are there in your house, and I will eat those today. Mishra bole more jadi thake bhrita gyan ar bar paka koro kori deya stan. Jagannath Mishra said, "If you at all consider me your servant, then please cook again. I will make all arrangements." Grihe ache randhaner shakala sambar puna paka koro tabe santosha amar. We have all the ingredients for cooking in the house. Please cook again, then I will feel satisfied. Bolite lagila joto ishta bandhugan Ama saba chahi tobe koroho randhan. All the friends and relatives of Jagannath Mishra present there also requested the Brahmana, "Please be merciful on us and cook again." Vipra bole je icha toma sabakar koribo randhana sarva thai punarbar. The Brahmana said, "All right, according to your desire, I will certainly cook again." হরিষা হইলা সবে বিপ্রের বচনে স্থান উপাস করিলেন সবে ততক্ষণে. Everyone there was happy to hear the Brahmana's decision, and they immediately cleaned the kitchen. রন্ধনের সজ্জা আনি দিলেন ত্বরিতে চলিলেন বিপ্রবর রন্ধন করিতে. They quickly assembled all the ingredients, and the Brahmana began to cook. সবেই বলেন শিশু পরম চঞ্চল আর বার পাছে নষ্ট করো এ সকল. Everyone concluded, "This child is very restless and may spoil the offering again." রন্ধন ভোজন বিপ্র করেন যাবত আর বাড়ি লয়ে শিশু রাখহ তাবত. Therefore, please take him to another house until the Brahmana finishes cooking and eating. তবে শচী দেবী পুত্রে কোলে তো করিয়া চলিলেন আর বাড়ি প্রভুরে লইয়া. Shachi Devi then took her son in her arms and went to the neighbor's house. সব নারী গণ বলে শুনো রে নিমাই এ মত করিয়া কি বিপ্রের অন্ন খায়. All the ladies there said, "Listen, Nimai, you shouldn't have eaten the Brahmana's rice like that." হাসিয়া বলেন প্রভু শ্রী চন্দ্র বদনে আমার কি দোষ বিপ্র ডাকিলা আপনে. The Lord smiled with his moon-like face and replied, "What is my fault? The Brahmana called me." সবে বলেন ওয়ে নিমাই ঢাঙ্গাতি কি করিবা এবে যে তোমার গেল জাতি. কোথাকার ব্রাহ্মণ কোন কুল কে বা চিনে তার ভাত খায় জাতি রাখিবা কেমনে. Everyone then said, "Oh deceitful Nimai, what will you do now that you have lost your caste? Who knows that Brahman? What is his caste? Where is he from? Now that you have eaten his rice, how will you maintain your caste?" হাসিয়া কোহেন প্রভু আমি যে গোয়াল ব্রাহ্মণের অন্ন আমি খাই সর্বকাল. The Lord smiled and said, "I am a cowherd boy, and I always eat Brahmana's rice." ব্রাহ্মণের অন্নে কি কোপের জাতি যায় এত বলি হাসিয়া সবারে প্রভু চায়. How can a cowherd boy lose his caste by eating a Brahman's rice? Saying this, the Lord looked at everyone and smiled. চলে নিজ তত্ত্ব প্রভু করেন ব্যাখ্যান তথাপি না বুঝে কেহ হেন মায়া তান. In this way, the Lord revealed his identity while speaking deceptively, but by the influence of his maya, no one could understand him. সবে হাসেন শুনি প্রভুর বচন বকা হইতে এড়িতে কাহার নাহি মন. Everyone laughed upon hearing the Lord's explanation. No one wanted to set him down from their embrace. হাসিয়া যায়েন প্রভু যে জনার কোলে সে জন আনন্দ সাগর মাঝে বুলে. As the Lord smiled and sat on various people's laps, whoever held him merged in an ocean of bliss. সে বিপ্র পুনর্বার করিয়া রন্ধন লাগিলেন বসিয়া করিতে নিবেদন. Meanwhile, the Brahmana finished cooking again, so he sat down to make the offering. ধ্যানে বাল গোপাল ভাবেন বিপ্রবর জানিলেন গৌরচন্দ্র চিত্তের ঈশ্বর. In meditation, the Brahmana called Bal Gopal to eat, and Lord Gaurasundar, the Supersoul, immediately came to know this. Mohiya shakala loka ati alakhite ailen viprasthane hasite hasite. Putting everyone into illusion, the Lord secretly came before the Brahmana with a smile on his face. Alakhite ekamushti anna loya kore খাইয়া চলিলা প্রভু দেখে বিপ্রবরে Unseen by others, the Lord then took a handful of rice and ate it as the Brahmana watched. Hai hai koriya uthilo vipravar, Thakura kaiya bhat dilo ekarada. The Brahmana immediately cried, "Alas, alas!" And the Lord, after eating the rice, fled away. Sambhrame uthiya mishra hate bari loya, Krodhe thakurere loya jai dhawaiya. Enraged, Jagannath Mishra got up, took a stick in his hand, and chased after the Lord in anger. Mahabhaye Prabhu polaila ek ghare, Krodhe Mishra pache thaki tarja garja kore. The Lord fearfully fled into another room, with Jagannath Mishra chasing behind and chastising him in anger. Mishra bole aji dekho koro tor karja, Tor mate parama abhoda ami arja. Jagannath Mishra said, "Just wait and see what I'll do to you today. Although I am an Aryan, you consider me a fool." Heno mahachor shishukar ghare ache, Eto boli krodhe Mishra dhai prabhu pache. Who has such a great thief for a son? Saying this, Jagannath Mishra chased after the Lord in anger. Sabe dhori len jatna koriya mishrere, Mishra bole ero ami marimu uhare. Everyone present tried to restrain Mishra, but he said, "Leave me alone. Today I'll beat him." Sabe bolen Mishra tumi to udar, Uhare Maria kon sadhu tomar. They then pleaded, "O Mishra, you are by nature magnanimous. What kind of intelligence would you exhibit by beating him?" Bhalo manda jnana nahi uhar sharire, Param abhoda je emon shishu mare. He doesn't understand what is right and what is wrong. Whoever beats such a child is a great fool. Marile konba shikhibe heno noy, Swabhave shishur chanchal mati hoy. He will not learn simply by being beaten. Children are all restless by nature. Ate vyate ashishe tartika brahman, Mishrer dhariya hate bolen vachan. At that time, the mendicant Brahman hastily came there. Holding the hands of Jagannath Mishra, he spoke. Balaker nahi dosh shuno Mishra rai, Je dine je hobe taha hoi bare chai. Listen, Mishra, this child is not at fault. Whatever is meant to happen on a particular day will certainly take place. Aji Krishna anna nahi likhen amare, Sabe ei marma kotha kohilu tomare. Today Krishna has not allotted me any rice. I'm telling you, this is my realization. Dukhe Jagannatha Mishra nahi tole mukh, Matha heta koriya bhaven mane dukha. Feeling distressed, Jagannath Mishra was unable to raise his head. He looked at the ground and simply lamented. Henoi shamaye vishwa rupa bhagavan, Shei sthane ailen mahajyotir dham. At that time, the most powerful and effulgent Vishwarup came there. Sarva ange nirupama lavanyer sima, Chaturdasha bhuvane o nahiko upama. There is no comparison to the matchless sweetness of Vishwarup's bodily limbs. Skandhe jagya sutra brahma teja murti manta, Murti bhede janmila apani nityananda. A Brahman thread hung on his shoulder. He is the source of the Brahman effulgence, and though in a different form, he is directly Lord Nityananda. Sarva Shastrir Artha Sadha Spuraye Jivai, Krishna Bhakti Vyakhya Matra Koroye Sadai. The purport of all scriptures is eternally manifest on the tongue of Vishvarup. Thus he is always engaged in preaching devotional service to Lord Krishna. Dekhiya apurva murti tarthika Brāhmaṇa mugdha hoya ekadrishte chahe ghane ghan. Seeing his extraordinary beauty, the mendicant Brahman was struck with wonder and stared at him continuously. Vipra bole kar putra e mahashay, sabe bolen e misher tanai. The Brahman then said, "Whose son is this?" The people replied, "He is the son of Jagannath Mishra." Shuniya santoshe vipra koila alingan, dhanya pita mata jar eheno nandan. The Brahmana was satisfied to hear this. He embraced Vishvarup and remarked, "Glorious are the father and mother of such a son." Viprere koriya Vishvarupa namaskar, boshiya kohen katha amriter dhar. Vishvarup offered obeisances to the Brahmana. He then sat down and began speaking words that were like a stream of nectar. Shubha dine tar mahabhagyer uday, tumi heno atiti jahar grihe hoy. Whoever receives a guest like you has attained great fortune on that auspicious day. Jagat shodhite she tomar parjatan, Atmanande purna hoy koroho Brahman. Although you are self-satisfied, still you travel about in order to sanctify the world. Bhagya boro tumi heno atiti amar, abhagya baki kohibo upasa tomar. It is our great fortune that we have a guest like you, but we are also unfortunate because you are fasting. Tumi upavasa kori thako jar ghare, sarvatha tahara amangal phala dhore. If you fast while staying in someone's house, it will simply bear inauspicious fruits. Harisha painu boro tomar darshane, vishara painu boro e sabashravane. I am greatly satisfied by seeing you, but I am very sad to hear about what has happened. Vipra bole kichu duka na bhabhi ho mane, phal mul kichu ami koriba bhojane. The Brahmana said, "Please do not feel sad. I will eat some fruits and roots." Vanavasi ami anna kothai bapai, prai ami vane phal mul matra khai. I live in the forest, so where can I get rice? I am accustomed to eat fruits and roots in the forest. Kadachit kondivase bakai anna, sheho jadi nirvirode hoy upasanna. I seldom eat rice, only when it is easily available. Je santosha palaiya toma darashane, tahate koti koti korilu bhojane. I have become so satisfied by seeing you that I feel as if I have eaten millions of meals. Phal mula naivedya je kichu thake ghare, taha ano giya aji koribo ahare. Please go and bring any fruits, roots, or prasad that you have, and I will eat that today. Uttar na kore kichu Mishra Jagannath, dukha bhabe Mishra shire diya dui hat. Jagannath Mishra, however, did not speak anything. He just held his head in his hands in distress. Vishvarupa bolen bolite basi bhai, sahaje karuna sindhu tumi mahashay. Vishvarup said, "I hesitate to speak, but I know that you are an ocean of mercy." Para dukhe katarasa bhava sadhu jan, parer ananda se barai anukhan. It is the nature of saintly persons to be distressed on seeing the sufferings of others. They always try to make others happy. Eteke apane jadi niralasya hoya, Krishner naivedya koro randhana koriya. So, if it is not too much trouble, please cook for Krishna again. Tabe aji amara goshtir joto dukh, sakala ghochaye pai parananda sukha. Then my family's distress will be vanquished, and we will attain transcendental happiness. Vipra bole randhana korilu dui bar, tatapi ho Krishna na dilen khai bar. The Brahmana said, I have already cooked twice, yet Krishna has still not allowed me to eat. Te bhujilaya aji nahi ko likhan, Krishna icha nahi kene koro ho jatan. I have therefore understood that he has not allotted any rice for me today. If Krishna's sanction is not there, why should we endeavor? Koti bhakya dravya jadi thake nija ghare, Krishna agya hoile she khai bare pare. Je dine Krishner jare likhon na hoy, koti jatna koruk tathapi siddha noy. One may have unlimited foodstuffs at home, but he can only eat with Krishna's sanction. If Krishna does not allot anything on some day, then even by endless endeavor, one will never achieve a thing. Nisha der prahar duyo bajai, ihate ki ar paka korite jujai. It is practically the middle of the night. Is it proper to cook at this time? Ataeva aji jatna na koriho ar, fal mul kichu matra korimo ahar. Therefore, do not make any further arrangements for cooking today. I will simply eat some fruits and roots. Vishwarupa bole nahi ko kona dosh, tumi paka korile sheshabar santosh. Vishwarup said, there will be no fault if you cook. Everyone will be satisfied. Eto boli Vishwarupa dhorila charan, sadhite lagila sabhe korite radhan. Saying this, Vishwarup caught hold of the Brahmana's feet, and everyone else also requested him to cook. Vishwarupe dekhiya mohita vipravar, Koribo randhana vipra bolila uttar. Enchanted by Vishwarup, the Brahmana said, all right, I'll cook. Santoshe shabe hari bolite lagilo, stana upaskar sabe korite lagilo. Everyone expressed their satisfaction by chanting the name of Hari. Ate vyate sthana upaskari sarvajane, randhaner samagri anila toto khane. They then quickly cleansed the kitchen and brought all the ingredients for cooking. Cholilen vipravar korite randhan, shishu abariya rohilen sarvajan. The Brahman then began to cook, and everyone escorted Nimai to another room. Polaiya Thakura achen jai ghare, Mishra bosilen she gharer duare. Jagannath Mishra sat in front of the door where the child was detained. Shabe bolen bandho bahir duar, bahir hoite jeno nahi pare ar. Everyone said, lock the door from inside so that he cannot get out. Mishra bole bhalo bhalo e jukti hoy, bandhiya duar sabe bahire achar. Jagannath Mishra said, that's a good idea. Thus Jagannath Mishra and others sat outside after latching the door. Ghare thaki strigan bolen chinta nai, Nidra gelo ar kichu na jane nimai. From inside the room, the lady said, Do not worry, Nimai is sleeping. He won't do anything now. E mate shishu rakhilen sarvajan, viprer hoilo koto khanete randhan. As they guarded the child in this way, the Brahman soon finished cooking. Anna upaskari she sukriti Brahman, dhyane bosi Krishnere korila nivedan. The pious Brahmana prepared a plate for offering and then sat in meditation and offered the food to Krishna. Janilen antaryami shishachi nandan, chitte ache viprere dibendarashan. The Supersoul, Shri Shachinandan, knew everything. He had already decided to give darshan to the Brahmana. Nidra Devi Sabare Ishvara Ichai, Mohilen Sabe Achishta Nidra Jai. Thus, by the will of the Supreme Lord, Nidra Devi, the goddess of sleep, deluded everyone into deep sleep. Jestane koren vipra anna nivedan, ailen shestane Shri Shachinandan. Shri Shachinandan then went to the place where the Brahmana was making his offering. Balaka dekhiya vipra kore hai hai, sabe nidra jai keho shunite na pai. On seeing the child, the Brahman cried out, "Alas, alas!" But no one heard him, for they were all fast asleep. Prabhu bole, "Oy vipra tumi to udar, tumi amar daki ano ki dosh amar." O Brahmana, you are indeed magnanimous. You call me, so what is my fault? Mor mantra japi more koroho avan, rahite na pari ami asi tomastan. You chant my mantra and invite me, so I cannot resist coming to you. Amare dekhite niravadhi bhavo tumi, ataeva tomare dilaya dekha ami. You always desire to see me, so here I am. Shekhane dekhe vipra parama arbhut, Shankha chakra gada parma ashtabhuja rup, Eka haste navanita ar haste khai, ar dui haste prabhu murali bajai, Shrivatsa kaustuba vakhe shobe manihar, Sarva ange dekhe ratnamay alankar, Nava gunja beda shiki ucha shobe shire, Chandra mukhe aruna adhara shobha kore, Hasiya dolai dui nayana kamal, Vaijayanti mala dole makara kundal, Charanara binde shobhe shiratna nupur, Nakhamani kirane timir gelo dur, Apurva kadamba vrikha dekhe shekhane, Vrindavane dekhe nada kore pakhi gane, Gopa gopi gabi gana chaturdike dekhe, Jaha dhyan kore tai dekhe parat theke. At that time, the Lord exhibited a wonderful 8-armed form to the Brahmana. In 4 hands he held a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. In one hand he held a pot of butter from which he ate with another hand. Then with 2 other hands he played a flute. He was decorated with the mark of Srivatsa, while the Kaustuba gem and a jeweled necklace hung on his neck. All of his limbs were decorated with jeweled ornaments. His head was decorated with a garland of fresh gunja seeds and a peacock feather. His moon-like face was beautified by his red lips. The Lord smiled as he rolled his eyes. His Vaijayanti flower garland and shark-shaped earrings swayed to and fro. His lotus feet were adorned by jeweled ankle bells, and all darkness was dissipated by the shining of his toenails. The Brahmana also saw the abode of Vrindavan filled with wonderful kadamba trees and the chirping of various birds. He saw cowherd boys and girls in all directions. Indeed, whatever he had meditated on, he saw manifest before him. Apurva Aishwarya dekhi Sukriti Brahman, Anande Murchita hoya porila tokhon. Seeing the extraordinary opulence, the pious Brahmana fell unconscious with ecstasy. Karuna Samudra Prabhu Shri Gora Sundar, Shri Hasta Dilentana Anger Upar. Lord Gaurasundar, the ocean of mercy, then placed his lotus hand on the body of the Brahmana. Shri Hasta Parashe Vipra Paila Chetan, Anande Hoilo Jada Naspure Vachan. By the touch of the Lord, the Brahman regained consciousness. Though in ecstasy, he remained inert and unable to speak. Puna puna murcha vipra jai bhumi tale, puna uthe puna pore mahakutuhale. The Brahmana repeatedly fell unconscious to the ground and then got up in great jubilation. Kampasvera pulake sharira sthir nahe, nayaner jale jeno ganga nadi bahe. His body shivered and perspired, and his hairs stood on end. The flow of tears from his eyes resembled the Ganges river. Kaneke dhoriya vipra prabhur charan, korite lagila uchcharavete krandan. The Brahmana then caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet and began to cry loudly. Dekhiya viprer arti Shri Gora Sundar, hasiya viprere kichu korila uttar. Seeing the Brahmana's humility, Shri Gaurasundar smiled and addressed him. Prabhu bole shuno shuno aye vipravar, aneka janmer tumi amar kinkar. The Lord said to him, "Please listen, O Brahmana. You have been my servant for many lifetimes. Niravadi bhavo tumi dekhite amare, ataeva ami dekha dilaya tomare. You always desire to see me, therefore I have come before you. Ar janme ei rupe nandagrihe ami, dekha dilu tomare nasmaro taha tumi. In a previous life, I gave you darshan at the house of Nanda Maharaj. Don't you remember that? Jabe ami avatirna hoilaya gokule, sheho janme tumi tirta koro kutuhale. When I appeared in Gokul, you also joyfully visited the various holy places. Daive tumi atithi hoila nanda ghare, ei mate tumi anna nibedo amare. Tahateo e mata koriya kotuka, khai tora ana dekhailu e rupa. By providence, you became a guest one day in the house of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, you offered rice to me in the same way, and after I ate your rice, I showed you this same form. Eteke amar tumi janme janme das, das binu anya mor na dekhe prakash. In this way, you have been my servant birth after birth, for other than my servants, no one can see this form. Kohilaya tomare e sab gopya katha, karostane iha nahi kohiba sarvatha. I have thus disclosed to you confidential topics that should not be revealed to anyone under any condition. Javat thakaye mor ei avatar, tavat kohile kare korimu sanghar. As long as I remain in this incarnation, you should not tell anyone the secrets that I have told you. Otherwise, I will kill you. Sankirtana arambe amara avatar, koraimu sarvadeshe kirtana prachar. I have incarnated to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, and I will preach this process of chanting throughout the world. Brahmadije prema bhakti yoga vancha kore, taha bilaimu sarva prati ghare ghare. I will freely distribute the love and devotion that is desired by Brahma and others to each and every house. Koto dina thaki tumi aneka dekhiba, esaba akhyana ebe kare na kohiba. If you remain here for some time, you will see many such pastimes, but do not disclose these things to anyone. Heno mate brahmanere Shri Gora Sundar, Kripa kori ashvasiya gela nija ghar. In this way, after mercifully pacifying the Brahmana, Lord Gaurasundar returned to his room. Purvavat shuya thakila shishu bhabe, yoga nidra prabhave keho nahi jage. The Lord then returned to sleep as a child, and by the influence of yoga nidra, no one awoke. Apurva prakasha dekhi she vipravar, anande purnito hoilo sarva kalevar. The Brahmana's entire body was filled with ecstasy after seeing that wonderful manifestation of the Lord. Sarva ange she anna koriya lepan, kandite kandite vipra koren bhojan. He smeared the rice all over his body and began to cry as he ate. Nache gai hase vipra koro ye hunkar, Jai Bal Gopal bolo ye bar bar. He then danced, sang, laughed, and repeatedly cried out, Jai Bal Gopal. Viprer hunkare sabe paila chetan, apana sambari vipra koila achaman. Everyone woke up by the loud cries of the Brahmana, who then controlled himself and washed his hands. Nirbhigne bhojana koren vipravar, dekhi sabe santosha hoila bahutar. Seeing that the Brahmana had eaten without disturbance, everyone was greatly satisfied. Sabare kohite mane chintaye Brahman, Ishvara chiniya sabe paukamochan. The Brahmana thought, perhaps I should disclose to everyone what has happened, so that they may be delivered by coming to know the Supreme Lord. Brahma Shiva Jahar Nimitta Kamya Kore, Heno Prabhu Avatari Ache Vipra Ghare. The Lord, who is sought after by Brahma and Shiva, has advented himself in this Brahmana's house. She Prabhur Loka Shava Kore Shishu Gyan, Katha kohi sabe pauka paritran. Let me tell them that this very child is the Supreme Lord, so that they may all be delivered. Prabhu kori ache nivarana e bhaye, agya bhanga bhaye vipra kare nahi kohe. But the Brahman feared breaking the Lord's order, and therefore did not disclose the incident to anyone. Chiniya Ishvara Vipra She Navadvipe, Rohilen Gupta Bhabe Ishvara Samipe. After recognizing his Lord, the Brahmana secretly remains near the Lord in Navadvip. Bhikha Kori Vipravar Pratisthane Sthane, Ishvara Asya Dekhe Prati Dine Dine. He would beg alms here and there and come daily to see the Lord. Veda Gopya Eshakala Mahachitra Katha, Ihar Shravane Krishna Milaye Sarvatha. One who hears these wonderful topics that are confidential to the Vedas certainly attains the lotus feet of Krishna. Ādi-khaṇḍa Katha Jeno Amrita Sravan, Jahi Shishu Rupe Krida Kore Narayan. The topics of Ādi-khaṇḍa are like a flow of nectar, for these topics describe Lord Narayan's pastimes as a child. Sarva Loka Chudamani Vaikunta Ishvar, Lakshmi Kanta Sita Kanta Shri Gaurasundar. Shri Gaurasundar is the Lord of Vaikunta and the crown jewel of the predominating deities of all planetary systems. He is the beloved Lord of Lakshmi and Sita. Treta Yuge Hoya Jai Shri Rama Lakshman, নানা মতে লীলা করিব দিলা রবন হইল দ্বাপর যুগে কৃষ্ণ সংকর্ষণ নানা মতে করিলেন ভূভার খণ্ডন মুকুন্দ অনন্ত যারে সর্ববেদে কয় শ্রী চৈতন্য নিত্যানন্দ শেষু নিশ্চয়. They who in Treta Yuga appeared as Rama and Lakshman and performed various pastimes like killing Ravan, who in Dwapar Yuga appeared as Krishna and Balaram and performed various pastimes like diminishing the burden of the earth, who all the Vedas address as Mukunda and Ananta. They have now certainly appeared as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jan Vrindavana Dasata Chupada Jugegan. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari. The topic in our next reading, chapter 6, is Prabhur Vidyarambha o Bal Chapalya. That's the Lord begins his studies, and then we'll read about some more childhood mischief. In case you didn't know, 7 days ago at the beginning of this Chaturmasya Vrat, we began a daily reading of Caitanya-bhāgavata with the Gaudiya Bhashya, the commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. This reading takes place on Zoom, but is also streamed on my other YouTube channel. I've been doing daily online readings for a few years now, but I gotta say, this time it feels extra special. I think it's because of the topic, of course, but then also it's been nice doing it on Zoom, which has made it possible for the reading to be a bit more interactive. Also, we've been starting half an hour earlier so that there's a little more time to do a kirtan and do a recap of the previous readings, so it's less rushed than before. If you'd like to join, you can look at the video description for the WhatsApp group where I send out the links to Zoom and YouTube 10 minutes before I begin the reading. Alright, so that's all for now, and I'll see you here again next Sunday, or Monday, to read chapter 6. That's Prabhur Vidyarambha o Bal Chapalya. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai, Shri Param Guru Dev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai, Shri Chaturmasa Vrat Ki Jai, Vrat Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Lokanath Goswami Par Ki Jai, Tadir Shubha Thirubhav Titi Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams. See you all next time.